Hey everyone, I put together this brief presentation to talk about what goes into the final project, what are the different pieces, kind of the process, if you will, and things that you need to do it well. So, it's actually an exciting opportunity. It's one of the best ways to learn. Just do it, Apologies to Nike. Obviously, that's their old saying, but if you actually do something with what you're learning, you get so much more out of it than if you just read about it from in the textbook. So you're going to combine what you learn in class, the concepts and the ideas that we cover throughout the course of the term, what your solid, thorough research that you're going to do on your own. You're going to do some research here. This is one of the things about this project, and one of the reasons why there aren't tests is that I know you guys are going to spend some time on this. You're going to learn from that research that you do, and of course you're going to introduce your own ideas throughout this as well. So you're ultimately going to create a multi-step new product marketing plan. Okay, so the project is basically 4 milestones you're going to do throughout the course of the term, very clearly delineated when they're doing that type of thing in the schedule. Each one of those is going to be about 3 to 5 pages long, and of course a lot of that is what the research that you're bringing in as well. So it's not all just your words and your into the document. You'll receive feedback from me every time you turn one in. I'll give you feedback in the grading rubric, basically, but you're going to get some feedback through that, which you should incorporate all that into revisions you make. So it's a way for you to basically do a resubmit without resubmitting, because you're going to resubmit it ultimately in the end when you turn in the project itself. You're going to incorporate class concepts and ideas from lectures, videos, articles, all the things that you're going through, the text itself. Use those, cite those in your paper, because it's going to make it more solid. It's going to really solidify your points, and it's going to show that you understand the concepts and things that we're learning in class and applying it to this very specific project. Okay. You're gonna have your own specific targeted research. You can do a lot of online stuff. It's not like you're gonna have to go to the library and spend hours there. You can do most of this stuff online, and then you can incorporate some of your own ideas into this thing as well. Each milestone has a very specific template describing exactly what you want to address. Make sure you follow that template exactly and in order. And your final project, this is the good news, is really basically compiles and pulls together what you got from your milestones that you have since revised with the feedback you got from me. You do all those things, and actually the turning in the final project's not that too big of a deal. When you finish, you're going to be a marketing rock star, so who doesn't want to be that, right? So building a plan, I'm going to use a little analogy here, is like building a building. Does it all start with a blueprint? The answer is no. An architect's drawing? No. Finding the best building spot is really where you start. You really have to understand exactly that where you are to understand, what you can actually build there. So your building site is the most important first step that you take. Okay? So the right spot is the one that fits the strategy of the organization. So does it support the overall mission of the organization? Does it fit the overall strategy of the organization? Does it support the growth strategies of the firm? All those are very important considerations when you decide what the new opportunity is for the organization. Okay? So we already have an idea for a new product. It supports the mission of producing the highest quality, healthy condiments, and that's basically what our company does today. You'll find all this in the final background information. Okay? It fits the strategy of offering specialty products positioned as premium and high quality. So that's what the organization's already doing, and that's what they have in mind for this new product. Complements the overall brand, leveraging our successful salsa products. So this is guacamole products are obviously not the same thing, but they're kind of really are normally bought by the same people. They're prepackaged our product's going to be prepackaged guacamole, and that will look a little bit like this. And I'm not saying this is how it looks or anything like that. Those are just representative samples of images, okay? So we have an idea for the product, but who will want it? This is a really, really important thing. So our milestone 1 is going to be define the target market. You're going to do real research, and if you need help with it, you let me know. But you really need to do real research here to define the demographics and psychographics of the marketplace. Okay, you're not everything, but some of the really key points. When you do that, you're going to break down, let's say the demographics are all broken down by, like age groups and income levels and all those other types of things that come into play here. But from that, you're going to back away from those very specific pieces of information and write a generalized definition of the market. This is a really important step because it makes future research so much easier to do. It has to be inclusive of what we already know our target market definitions are. So, I think I use an example. If we find out that the people who buy guacamole are married women with children and living in a professional suburb, between 30 and 42 years old with 2 kids, or I'm making up stuff up here, but if you start to find all these pieces of information, you can actually back out of that and say, really then what we're talking about, married women, millennial moms, basically is what it comes down to. If you look up millennial moms, when you do some of the other research, you're going to find all kinds of stuff because millennial moms is sort of a common term used. So that's the generalized definition you're trying to get to. Not so generalized that it loses all its meaning, but generalized enough that you can actually use it to do this project that we're doing here much easier, okay? And ultimately, we're going to define a persona. Once we layer in our psychographic information, we're going to define a persona, and that's a representation or a person who is representative of our marketplace, okay? So that step is honestly probably about the most important step. Defining the target market is really the foundation of our building that we're building here, okay? So foundation being what everything else is built on top of. That hopefully makes some sense. Hopefully that analogy makes a little bit of sense and isn't confusing. But it's the most important step that you take because you have to do it very, very well for any of the other ones to even work, okay? So all the strategies for the 4 Ps are centered. 4 Ps, as we go to do those parts of it, are centered on one thing, the target market. Matching the needs and wants of the target market with the features and benefits of our product is just an incredibly important step that we have to take. That means we're going to have to do some research and really understand what their needs and wants are. And we're also going to have to do a little bit of research to understand what our features and benefits should be. Believe me, we're not, building products and, doing things like that, but we really need to make a good match between the features and benefits of our products as they relate to the needs and wants of the target market. Knowing what they want, you're going to have to do some research, will help understand where we should be, and then talk about what's important because this can help us do our messaging, right? We're going to take a look at the competitors and where they're positioned. So ultimately, where will we be positioned, which is another important step that happens. We're going to do this in milestone 2. It can be done early in the process or late, depending on the type of organization you're working with. But you're going to build a position statement and say, this is who we are. This is how we're going to make this guacamole product unique to our target market. Then we're going to go through the more nuts and bolts of it, the pricing strategy. I'm going to actually limit the number of choices that you have because you can spend a lot of time on this and it's of no real upside value. So I'm going to give you some more limited choices, but again, it's going to require a very solid understanding of your target market and what they're looking for. And then your place strategy comes about, same type of thing. I think I've mentioned this before. The idea here is we got to meet them where they are. So we have to do a little research to understand where our target market actually does shopping and things like that for guacamole products. And then we're going to talk about promotional strategy in milestone 4. We're going to almost certainly use a multi-channel approach, but we don't have to make this super complicated. We have to find one primary channel that we're going to work through, and then we're going to think about some secondary ones as well. So, and then we're going to talk about what the key marketing messages are. The research is readily available out there in terms of what these people do, as long as you have that solid general definition of your marketplace, like the millennial moms. Okay. In the final plan, you're ultimately going to be bringing all this together. You're going to summarize your conclusions, choices, reasons, things like that. And then you're going to post a summary discussion for the final project and respond to other discussions. All this happens at the very end of the class. So if you stay with it and you put in the work up front and while we're working along, putting it together at the end actually isn't that difficult a proposition. Okay? So make sure you properly cite your research. Super important. I gave you some guidelines on APA methods for doing that. Look very closely at the rubric the grading rubric for the final project or in the milestones. They're consistent. And then the overall objective here, and this is really important to take away, is that you are applying what you are learning in class to this plan. That's what I'm looking for, is that kind of connection, that you understand the materials that we're looking at, some of the things that you've read, some of the videos you've seen, and you tap into all that and make that work in supporting your final project that you submit to me. So that's your overall objective. Apply what you're learning in class to this exercise. Okay. So really understand the class concepts before writing the milestone. They are done in an order, as you can see. Okay, so make sure you really understand those before you take that on. Do super solid research. I will get back to you if you aren't. You will get a lot of feedback from me on that. You will definitely want to change that. Take very clear notes. They come in handy when you're compiling your writing. So if you need any help with that in terms of what notes you're coming, and then make sure that your citation information is part of those notes as well. It sure makes writing it correctly easier. And then seek clarity from me if any of this is if you're struggling with any part of it, confused, or otherwise you're wringing your hands over this thing. Don't. Let's talk. We will get it worked out. Okay. So best of luck to all you rockstar marketing managers. I think you'll enjoy this drill. I'm not going to say it's, completely accurate, but it's a lot how marketing plans go and how they get put together. So the reasoning, the decisions, all those types of things are all part of the equation here. So excuse me, but again, let me know if you have any questions, and the best of luck to you.